What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Pinfalls and Playbooks podcast, episode number 34. As always, I'm your host, Pius Kabir, alongside my co-host, Farden Khan. And guys, this week we're going to be talking about our two favorite games that we saw in NBA this week. We also have some major sports news that we want to touch on real quick as well. And in terms of wrestling, it's the full road to Wrestlemania. Storylines are starting to develop. A lot of things have changed, and it looks like Wrestlemania is going to be shaping up to be really good depending on how the story progresses going forward. But that's our episode this week, and we're going to end this week's episode with actually a new idea and a new segment that we're doing is with our quizzes. So let's get straight into this week's episode. All right, guys, first up in our sports recap, we're going to be talking about NBA and Farden. As always, we talk about our favorite two games of the week. I'll let you do with your first two.
Yeah, so the first game I want to talk about is the Thunder and the Knicks. This is actually a potential NBA Finals preview, and it kind of showed all throughout this whole game. It was a highly defensive battle between both teams, two premier defenses in my opinion. The Thunder, they actually pulled away with this one, 103-100. The Knicks, they actually looked good early on, but as the fourth quarter progressed, they kind of just unraveled, and the Thunder, they do what they do best. They capitalize on mistakes, and SGA, being the foul baiter that he is, just drew the foul, like any fouls that he got. And it was pretty evident this game, and I've seen clips of it online where he just throws himself into people's bodies, trying to get the calls, and at the end of the day, that's what he's known for, and that's what they're going to do. They proved to be the better team in this point, and like I said, this is a possible NBA Finals preview in June. Next game I want to talk about is the Mavs and the Celtics. The Celtics won this game 120-100. The biggest storyline in this one was the return of Jason Tatum.
Right.
He finally came back after 10 months rehabbing from Achilles injury that he suffered in the playoffs last season. And he didn't look good early on. Missed a lot of shots. Obviously, there's rust and wear and tear because of his Achilles injury. He can't move as prominent as he once did. But he started to settle in, scored 15 points, had a double-double, was on triple-double watch, actually. Jaylen Brown, he still looks like the MVP candidate that he's always has been throughout this whole season. And having Tatum back, it just takes the load off his back. And at the end of the day, if those two can lead this team, they have probably a deeper lineup than they have had in recent years, even in the finals run. Cooper Flag finally returned, and he looked solid. This was actually his, like, I wouldn't say a hometown return, but he grew up in Maine. He was a Celtics fan, so this was just a good team effort from him. And the Boston Celtics, they're looking like a prominent title contender as of right now.
Yeah, and on the Mavs side, it's just obvious. Like, Cooper Flag opens up the floor so much for the Dallas Mavericks. His team, the Mavs are much better with Cooper Flag playing. For sure. And he obviously looks like he's going to be the face of the Mavericks going forward. I know a lot of people had a little concern on the beginning first 2 weeks of the NBA season.
Yes, like especially with his injuries, he was running for Rookie of the Year. And obviously, Concanuple's been playing really well, and he definitely took the lead. But if Cooper Flag continues to look like this,
that's my whole thing. Is like, I know right now Canuple is having the lead right now, but Flag, when he plays, it's just he's so ball dominant. And when he gets the ball, he's going to have more points. He's going to have more numbers than Concanuple.
Yeah, and he's a more prominent offensive threat.
Yeah, so like you already know, like when you're playing the Mavericks, people are probably creating their defensive game plan around Cooper Flag. With Canuple, they're probably doing that as well, but not as much as like the other two players that they have because there's so many players on the Hornets to plan for. But the Mavericks, they also have like their players like Najee Marshall, who continues to score 20+ a game as well. And we're going to find out exactly what the Mavericks are going to do going forward. It's obviously we're not going to make the playoffs most likely this year, so we're going to be playing in the draft. I'm excited to see what's going on because this year's draft, there's a lot of loaded players coming out of this year's draft, so we can see exactly what they kind of end up doing on that side of the draft. And we're on the rebuilding mode from now on at this point.
Yeah, they just got to get Kyrie Irving back. He's not going to play this season, but next season for sure, he'll definitely be the leader of the team. He took that role pretty well.
For sure. For my favorite two games of this week, I'm going to talk about is the Nets versus the Pistons, actually. So the Nets actually won this game 107-105. This was actually a crazy game for the Nets to actually win. So the Nets won this game. They snapped the Pistons' 10-game winning streak.
I think this was the most heaviest underdog game of the season.
It made no sense. Well, the thing is, a lot of things that a lot of people didn't expect is Cade Cunningham did not play this game as well. So that's a big factor. But it kind of shows and proves exactly why I think Cade Cunningham is the MVP, because look how bad the Pistons are without Cade Cunningham when it's a competitive game against the Brooklyn Nets. Yeah. In my opinion, that right there shows exactly why Cade Cunningham is the most important player on that team. And in the NBA, when it comes to having a team having success, especially as a first seed, for the Nets, it's obvious, like, you know, they're still in a rebuilding mode. It's Michael Porter Jr.'s team currently. They did draft 2 rookies this year, so they're still waiting to see how those 2 develop. And they're foreign players, obviously. But the thing is, I'm not going to say anything on them yet because I know a lot of Nets fans don't like these 2 players yet. But they did say the same thing when Washington got Denny Avdia, and they thought that dude was trash. But it took about 2-3 years for him to get accustomed to the league. I don't see why they can't happen with those two players that they have on the Nets, and they could possibly have a good team going forward. They're going to be in the lottery going forward.
And they have a lot of assets.
They have a lot of assets. Yeah. I do think the Brooklyn Nets in the future, in the next 2-3 years, can make a difference. But you can see with the coach that they have, it's obvious that they're going to probably keep that coach for a while because it looks like that team and the camaraderie is good with there. And Michael Porter Jr., we're going to see what he ends up doing if he continues to stay in that shooting role or ends up actually playing and developing into that top-tier superstar level that he wants to be. Next up we have is the Knicks versus the Nuggets. So this game was an absolute washing.
Yeah.
The Knicks won this game 142-103.
Off a back-to-back.
Off a back-to-back in Denver.
Yeah.
Which is actually crazy when you talk about it like that. I don't know what the hell happened in this game. The Knicks were just scoring left and right. And it comes to, obviously, OG Anunoby. He had like a career game. He had 34 points in this game.
8 3-pointers or something like that.
Absolutely monster game. Nikola Jokic had a monster game as well. 38 points, nearly a triple-double as always. Jamal Murray, I believe he was hurt. He ended up getting hurt in this game. But that kind of has no excuse for the Nuggets to lose that much to the New York Knicks when the Nuggets are considered title contenders and favorites. So the Nuggets just got Aaron Gordon back as well, but it was obvious that he was still getting used to the game. He didn't really have much points. He didn't make much impact on this game. But the Knicks, they ran up on this game, and it was crazy to see it because, I don't know, I didn't expect them to destroy the Nuggets like that. And obviously a lot of people still have doubters about the Knicks, but when they're on, they're on. Everybody on their entire team scored.
Yeah.
And the ball moved, the defense played well, and that's why they ended up winning that game.
I think the Nuggets, they have some flaws in their offense, and that's if they don't fix the flaws, they're not going to make it past at least the second round because the Western Conference is loaded. You know?
Exactly, and at this point, everybody knows what the Nuggets game is. It's a pick and roll with Jamal Murray and Jokic.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. A lot of people weren't able to defend that. You still probably can't defend it when it's on, but if you take out all the role players that the Nuggets don't have, they can't do anything else.
Exactly.
And that's exactly what the Knicks did. A good, well-balanced coach defense. They took away their role players and forced Nikola Jokic to do everything. And it's a team sport. Obviously, if you let Nikola Jokic have whatever the hell points he wants, you could still end up winning games because Nikola Jokic get all the numbers he wants. But if the other teams are scoring and better than them, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But that kind of sums up our two games for this week. Like we said, NBA season is on continued full roll. There's a lot of games that are heating up, a lot of playoff matchups that are going to be pretty much set going forward in the future. And there's going to be a lot of big games we're going to see and test each other where these teams are going to play each other and we're going to see exactly how well they do match up, if they do match up in the playoffs going forward. But that sums up our NBA recap for this week. All right, guys, and now for our sports recap, we have a few items that we want to touch on real quick because obviously there's not a lot of sports going on besides basketball. So there is some items that we want to talk about that did happen. First up is the Raiders. They pretty much traded for Max Crosby.
Yeah, the Ravens.
The Ravens traded for Max Crosby away from the Raiders.
So the Raiders, they traded Max Crosby to Baltimore for a first round this year and a first round next year. And now the AFC North has probably the best pass rushing edges in all of football. They have Max Crosby now. They have Myles Garrett on the Browns, and they have TJ Watt on the Steelers. And I'm sure Joe Burrow's somewhere out there like, oh my God, I can't. Not with this offensive line. I won't last there.
I feel bad. I'm not going to lie. I do think first 2 rounders is a lot for Max Crosby at that age. I wouldn't have done that. I would have done like a second rounders or third rounders, but first 2 rounders for older Max Crosby.
You know what's crazy is I've watched a lot of videos where the Jets, they kind of finessed the system with what they acquired for Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams.
Oh.
Like, they got a lot of draft picks for those 2 players. And seeing what Max Crosby was worth it, obviously he's older than both of them.
Yeah.
But I feel like the Raiders...
I think the Raiders won this trade, in my opinion,
depending
who
too.
They got.
And if you look at this draft, bro, they have, I think, 12 picks this year. And they have...
There's a lot of pass rushers that they can fill this year, too.
This year's a heavy pass rush. This is a heavy defensive draft, in my opinion. There's so many good players that they could get. But this is a good move for the Ravens also. I know last year, a lot of people were questioning their defense, and they didn't really have a pass rush. And now you add one of the most premier pass rushers in the league, that defense will definitely step up. And they still have Matabike and Kyle Hamilton still an all-pro safety. So overall, this is just a great move for the Ravens as well. Like, for both teams, in my opinion.
I think it's for both teams. It's a good move. We're going to see what the Ravens can actually do with this move because obviously their defense has been very shaky when it comes into the playoff, towards the end of the season and into the playoffs.
Yeah.
But it gives time. Pretty much what they all want to do is try to get Lamar Jackson the ball as much as possible. And when you have a defense like that, you can get the other team out of plays quickly and get the balls back in Lamar Jackson's hands.
Yeah, and free agency starts this Wednesday, I believe.
Yeah.
And a lot of teams, I know people always talk about tampering and stuff like that, but I'm sure there's been talks with players for different teams, what they need. And it's going to be a fun week, in my opinion. Like, there's so many moves to be made. I know last year on Sunday, post NFL free agency, there was just like a whole bunch of moves. And I'm sure next Sunday,
you're going to see a lot.
You could see some crazy stuff, to be honest. Like last year, Devontae Adams went to the Rams.
Yep.
Myles Garrett signed a massive extension. So there's moves to be made. Now switching gears to baseball. The World Baseball Classic has started a couple of days ago.
Yep.
And it's been fun, in my opinion. There's been a lot, like all the stars that are on each team, they've been showing out. The USA team, they've been looking really good. Aaron Judge is playing really well. Bryce Harper's been playing well. Kyle Schwarber's been playing really well. Japan has been playing in Japan, actually. Yeah. They've been playing like South Korea and a couple of other teams. And not only have they been led by Shohei Ohtani, but Masataka Yoshida, who plays on the Red Sox, he's been cooking for the Japanese team. And he's looking like Shohei out there. And I have no idea where he's got this power because he's not really known for his power. But I'm sure when you play for the Japanese national team, you elevate your game.
It's crazy because like you see those players, like especially Japanese players, when they play,
and also the Korean players too.
Yeah, when they play for their national team, they just turn it up. They all do. And it's crazy to see because like you hear obviously these players that are in the MLB right now and they're not as talked about as much, but when it steps onto the World Baseball Classic scene, they turn up.
And this is my point last week where we need something to elevate MLB spring training before the season starts. And obviously the World Baseball Classic, it happens every 2 years.
Yeah.
So it kind of just makes fun for each team to have their superstars, their lower stars in spring training. They've been playing all well too.
Yeah.
And the Dominican team, they're always fun. They have Juan Soto, Fernando Tatis, the list goes on. But the World Baseball Classic, as of right now, it's been the top main three teams, the U.S., the Japanese team, and the Dominican team. So obviously all three teams cannot make the finals. It could be either one of the three meeting each other in the finals, but we'll see how that goes. And then finally, last night, we had UFC 326. The main event was Charles Oliveira versus Max Holloway for the BMF belt. This was Charles Oliveira's most dominant performance in a while. And Max Holloway, he's not really known for his ground game, but when he's on the ground, he does hold his own. He does enough, but he couldn't do a lot against Oliveira.
You can't do enough when you're facing the person that has the most submissions in the UFC history.
Yeah.
I knew this was gonna be a wash. Like honestly, like because you're not as Holloway, you want to throw hands with Oliveira,
and they tried doing that.
They tried it, but Oliveira realized that if I want to win this fucking belt, I'm going to take you to the ground and do whatever I want with you.
Exactly.
And that's exactly what he did, honestly. And the entire card, like I watched most of this card, it was whatever. Nothing crazy to me. This is a card that they were just passing by.
The one thing that stood out to me was Raul Rosas has been doing really well, and he's obviously only still 21, so he hasn't hit the peak of his prime yet. But when he does, man, he'll be a good force for the featherweight division, and we know that Alexander Volkanovski is still running the division. But if he continues to elevate his fighting style, I'm sure he'll be a champ one day. And then finally, the UFC, what a lot of fans have been waiting for is the White House card. And Dana White earlier this week, he said that he was going to announce it this past Saturday, or last night rather, and that's exactly what he did. A lot of people have been, I guess, complaining about the card, saying how it's not good. But at the end of the day, if the fighters want to fight, they'll fight.
Yeah, so what ended up happening is I'm pretty sure Dana White had a lot of people that he had in mind for this card, and the deals just didn't work out. Because I know that some of these fighters that is rumored and most likely was going to be on this card was John Jones and Conor McGregor. Those are the biggest stars in UFC history.
Yeah, exactly.
And obviously, as Dana White, as being the businessman, he knows that having those two on that card will draw a lot more money. But as the fighters know how much they're worth, they realize, okay, if you can't give me what I want, they're not going to be on that card. And that's exactly, I know, what happened with John Jones and Conor McGregor. They probably asked for a lot. They probably wanted to be on it. The deals didn't work out. The matchups they probably wanted and they were giving them didn't work out for them. And that they ended up not having that. So that's why UFC decided to go with people that they know will fight and be on the card.
Like, it's not a bad card based on what they did. The co-main event is Alex Pereira, who he stepped up to heavyweight. He relinquished the light heavyweight title. Now he's going to fight Cyril Gane for the interim title until Tom Aspinall gets his shit together. That's a pretty good matchup in my opinion.
It's a good matchup. You have both of those guys with kind of similar styles. Cirogan is more lighter on the heavyweight side. Everyone really calls him a real light heavyweight in reality.
Yeah.
He fights like a light heavyweight, but he's a heavyweight.
Yeah.
And Alex Pereira,
he has the possibility of becoming a first-time
three division champ.
Yeah.
He's going up in all these divisions. He's trying to chase history at this point, and I don't see why he can't do it, because he's just on another level right now. If he's on, but the Cirogan, I've never been a Cirogan fan. I just don't think he's that good, in my opinion.
I don't think so either. But at the end of the day, this is going to be Alex Pereira's most powerful fighter that he's going to be fighting.
Yeah.
Like, he did fight Jan.
I guess if you want to say Izzy.
Because
Izzy did get him, so.
He definitely did get him. But in terms of, like, overall, what it, like, blow for blow, I think this is going to be Alex Pereira's toughest fight. He has a chance to win. I'm sure he probably will win.
No.
Switching gears to the main event is the return of Ilia Topuria and interim champ Justin Gaethje. And a lot of people were going to say that Ilia Topuria was going to be on this card. Against who? We didn't know. But since Justin Gaethje beat, who did he beat? He beat Max Holloway, no? No. Who did he fight? Oh, Paddy Pimblett. He beat Paddy Pimblett for the interim title, and now he's going to be fighting Ilia Topuria, who's technically still the champ. So,
in my opinion, I think this is just Justin Gaethje getting fed to Ilia Topuria. Ilia Topuria is going to walk the floor with him. I think Gaethje's, in my opinion, in that Paddy Pimblett fight, he looked old anyway then and there. And now you're facing against Ilia Topuria, who's probably a top 3 fighter in the UFC. I think Topuria has a vengeance on his mind, because obviously he's been out of the ring for a while. He's been training. He's been ready to get back. And we're going to see it at the UFC White House card, where I think, obviously, Gaethje's getting that main event scene card because obviously he's the American. I do think Topuria is winning that fight.
I think so, too.
I think it's going to be a second round knockout. I think he's going to knock him out again. Like, Topuria has the best hands probably in the UFC at that division right now.
Yeah.
And it's been shown constantly. Every single fight has been a damn knockout. And I don't see why. It's obvious Justin Gaethje can get knocked out. We've seen it a few times already.
Yeah.
So if he's facing Ilia Topuria, this is either Gaethje kind of cementing his legacy of saying that he's one of the best fighters of all time. Yeah. If he wins this fight, in my opinion. But if not, I think this doesn't do anything for Topuria, in my opinion.
No.
I just think Topuria wins this fight and goes on to whatever is next for him.
Yeah, I know people have been clamoring for him versus Makhachev. That was like the fight to be made at lightweight.
Yeah.
But
that is the fight, I think, to be made.
That's going to be the biggest fight whenever it happens.
Yeah.
Regardless of if it's, I don't know, in New York later on in the year. But at the end of the day, that's the fight to be made. Obviously, we don't know the status of John Jones. I know also on the card, Sean O'Malley's on the card.
O'Malley's on the card.
Diego Lopez is on the card. Bo Nichols on the card. So they have great fighters on the card.
They have a lot of Americans on the card, which they wanted.
Yeah, they don't have the big names that people wanted, but they have big names, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like people should just stop, like, complaining, saying this UFC 300 was better, this and that.
Well, you can't do anything anymore at this point anyway.
Like, let them do whatever it is want. It's going to be a great show, and I'm sure fans will enjoy it eventually, yeah.
But that kind of wraps up our sports recap for everything that we talked about and what's going on in the sports world for this week. All right, guys, now it's time for our WWE recap for this week, and first up is Monday Night Raw. So we had the show open up with a Vision trying to cut a promo, trying to get Seth Rollins in their hands, and it ultimately led to a bunch of masked men coming out, distracting all parts of the Vision. So Paul Heyman was left in the ring by himself, which led to Seth Rollins delivering the blow to him. Steel chair, it's the signature Seth Rollins move at this point. Basically, that's what he's known for with his Shield days, with him just doing it constantly. And they left Paul Heyman laying. Paul Heyman got stretchered out, which led to weird shit going on backstage. The entire show started off crazy. It was mayhem.
It was funny.
We had Jimmy Uso, who met the Vision backstage and ended up taking out, I believe he took out Austin Theory.
Yeah.
And then Logan Paul was nowhere to be found. And you had LA Knight ended up taking Paul Heyman in the ambulance. I don't know where the fuck they went. That was ridiculous. I don't know what's the story there. But that's kind of the show right there where they started off and they're kind of still building to Seth Rollins. We still don't know what his direction is towards Mania, whether it's against Paul, whether it's against Braun Breaker returns.
Yeah, like, obviously Braun Breaker was supposed to be in an Elimination Chamber, and it was going to be a moment where Seth Rollins would have cost Braun Breaker the chance to win the Elimination Chamber and, you know, face Drew McIntyre. But now that he's hurt, we don't know how long he is. But I'm sure he's going to be back. He's got to be back, in my opinion, before WrestleMania.
Yeah. Next up, we had pretty much a one-on-one match with Gunther versus Dragon Lee. This was the best match of the night. Gunther and Dragon Lee, they put on a good show. Gunther continues to prove why he's one of the best wrestlers in the world. And this was a good back and forth contest. It ended up with Gunther ended up beating Dragon Lee by pretty much pulling his mask off, just being a dirty heel.
Yeah.
And Dragon Lee obviously tapped it away immediately. Still, we don't know what the move is for going forward for Gunther. I feel like we're still going to keep finding out as there's so much more weeks to be built towards WrestleMania. It could be, you never know, Brock Lesnar has that open challenge coming out. If Gunther isn't doing anything, I wouldn't see why he wouldn't be someone that answers that open challenge as well, if there's no plans for him.
I would love to see also somehow Obafemi versus Gunther.
Right, that would be good to see as well.
Oba versus Brock, we don't know.
Yeah, so like there has to be something for him going forward. Next up, we had AJ Lee, who just delivered a promo saying that she's ready for anyone to come out and challenge for her IC title. I think that's most likely going to still lead to Becky Lynch coming back and having that feud. Mm-hmm. We had El Grande Americano
versus El Grande
versus Bravo.
Bravo,
versus Bravo, and that was a good match. Like it was good to see like those two guys work because in reality it's Chad Gable and Pete Dunne. Like those are good technical wrestlers. So when they were able to do their thing, it was a good match to have. El Grande continues to win. I think they're just building to a mask versus mask match at WrestleMania, which is going to be funny to see. You're going to see two Grandes versus each other, and the loser has to unmask themselves, even though everybody knows who the hell they all are. But it's good to see that storyline play out and eventually get an end to it. Next up, we had Rusev come out, interrupting the show, pretty much doing a face-off with Obafemi. These guys are going to finally have a match, I believe, this week on Monday Night Raw, where it's going to be two hosses fucking going at each other. Like
it should be a good match.
It should be a good match. Like, Rusev's been off of TV for a while. Obafemi's been on TV every week on both shows. So, we're going to see him pretty much, I think, most likely is going to obviously win that match. But I think it's going to be a good match and a good contest between them two. We had Jimmy Uso versus Theory in a one-on-one match. That match literally lasted like a few minutes because we had Jey Uso come back. And it's looking like most likely that WrestleMania match is going to be those tag team titles against the Vision, which is Theory and Logan Paul. Most likely, I think Theory and Logan Paul, if they continue to be consistent, I think they win the titles, in my opinion.
Did they say how long? Oh, Bronson Reed's going to be out for a while, right?
Bronson Reed's out for a long time. He got a torn tricep, so he's out for 6 months probably. Damn. So he's gone for a while. So I do think that those two guys will probably end up winning the tag titles at WrestleMania if they make that match happen. Then we finally had the IC title match with Dominic Mysterio versus Penta. This actually kind of played a storyline with earlier on in a backstage segment with we finally saw Danhausen doing the curse to Dominic Mysterio. So I guess that might be the storyline for him going forward. Is just like you don't want to be on Danhausen's bad side because if you are, you end up getting cursed and bad things happen. And that's exactly what happened here where Dominic Mysterio lost the IC title during WrestleMania season. And I didn't expect that to happen in my opinion. I thought that Dom was going to carry that title into Mania and lose it. But it happened now. It kind of opens up for a big match for Penta to have maybe a possible 6-man title match for the IC championship. Like, it's going to be, I feel like, why not have a multi-man match if you want the IC title to be defended at Mania? That's the way to do it because it's obvious that Judgment Day story, Dominic Mysterio and Finn Balor, it's going on. It's going to happen head-to-head no matter what.
I feel like now that Penta has the title, it's going to be a little bit harder to do that. And we don't know what the road is for Finn Balor now that he's away from the title picture.
Well, yeah, but I think they're still going to do that one-on-one match with Balor because they have to do it because they're going to split up.
I think so.
And they're teasing it every week. So I think Balor and Dom, they're going to have that match. Obviously, it's not a title match anymore, but you can still have a good story about it because it's the Judgment Day. They've been around forever. They've been on every week on Raw. Like you can do still a match between Dom and Finn Balor, whatever the stipulation might be. Could be, I don't know, like it could be if someone like leaves that brand and goes to another brand, or it could be anything where loser like Dom has to cut his hair or something. Like there's a reason why he's growing all that hair out. I think eventually that's gonna happen. But last night and the final show and the final segment of Monday Night Raw was what everyone was waiting for, was part 2 of Roman Reigns and CM Punk, the biggest match at WrestleMania this year, doing another promo battle. And this, in my opinion, this promo battle was mostly Roman. I think Roman was pretty much delivering a lot of hard hits on this promo, talking about a lot of things, and coming at CM Punk. And then Punk turned it on at the last minute of his promo, where he just delivered a bunch of shots, a bunch of low blows, and was with the biggest line of the night, where everyone was talking about it in the wrestling world. And you get it, like, a lot of people don't, usually when it comes to promos, you try to stay away from kids, family, wife, whatever it is. In this one, obviously WWE wants to build continuous more drama and pressure to this. The line ended up being because Roman Reigns last year ended up his father passing away.
Yeah.
So that ended up happening there. And WWE decided to use that towards it. Obviously, they probably got the clearance from Roman to use that.
Yeah.
No matter what. I doubt that CM Punk did that off the fly.
No.
There's no way that you're going to do stuff like that. Because if you're doing it, you're fighting on live TV.
Yeah.
Like, physically fighting on live TV. So, obviously, that was all planned.
They needed something to elevate that battle at WrestleMania. And they needed something to spice it up.
It's going to get personal. Because now, the line ended up being was like, he's going to bury... Because I think... Roman started off saying that he's going to bury CM Punk.
No, he's going to retire.
Oh, retire him, right.
Yeah.
He's going to retire him, and Punk said he's going to bury Roman Reigns next to his dead father. So that was the line that kind of made the entire show go off the air. That was the way they go on off the air. And it's obvious the next time Roman Reigns is on that show, you know that he's going to come back with some type of retaliation. He's going to come after what CM Punk's been talking about forever. It's his damn dog. He's going to talk about Larry.
You know what I think he should do? You know how Gunther a couple of weeks ago trolled AJ Styles about coming out to his music?
Right.
Why don't you come out to his old theme song and just troll around with him, whatever it is, what you want to say, I would say go for it.
You see, I could see that, but the thing is, like, Roman Reigns' character, I don't see him being a trolling type. He's just being more of an arrogant person that would just tell you to your face how it feels.
Right.
And I think he's literally gonna probably go after Larry the Dog or AJ Lee himself. Like, I definitely see them getting a lot more personal now, building it to his WrestleMania, and it's gonna lead to what pretty much the build up what it is. You have so many weeks still left of WrestleMania. And the idea is you can't let them touch yet. You're gonna have a massive brawl eventually between those two, and that's when that happens. I think the best way to do that.
I'm sure it's gonna be before the week or a couple of weeks.
Right,
before.
it's gonna be a week before or 2 weeks before WrestleMania happens because. One of the things that I always remember, one of the biggest brawls ever, was John Cena and Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
When they had a massive brawl on Raw. I think it's due for something like that eventually. Like, I think these two are going to have a huge brawl where it's going to be the entire locker room comes out, has to be separated. It's going to be chaos and mania. But I think for going forward, that's the way they're going to do it. They're going to keep doing these promo battles until it's time to get closer to WrestleMania. But that's Raw recap. Then we go straight into SmackDown recap where... a lot of news happened on SmackDown this week.
Yeah, so Randy Orton, he kicked off the show. He won the Elimination Chamber last week. He basically came out spewing that he's going to be a 15-time champion. He was interrupted by Trick Williams, and Trick Williams, he was like something about the height or whatever. He ended up getting RKO'd by Randy Orton. But we'll talk about the main event later on. Carmelo Hayes, he's been doing the U.S. Open Challenge for damn near 2-3 months now.
Yeah.
And he continued it again this past Friday. He ended up fighting Wagner Jr. from AAA,
From AAA, yeah.
It was a pretty good match. Melo ended up picking up the victory.
It was a good surprise because, like, obviously, like, every week you've been seeing Melo facing a lot of people that are already currently on the SmackDown roster.
Yeah.
But, like, it was good to see, okay, we got a different talent in there. It was a good match.
Yeah, and I'm sure eventually it's going to lead to something between him and Trick Williams.
Yeah, I think that is going to be the feud going to Mania.
I think that might be the WrestleMania match for the U.S. title. Yeah, for sure. Lash Legend and Nia Jax, they did their championship coronation because they won the tag titles last week. And they were interrupted by Charlotte and Alexa Bliss, who want the titles back. They were interrupted by Julia and Kiana James, which ultimately led to an impromptu match between the two tag teams. And Charlotte and Alexa, they're the face. They're going to win this match.
So this was a number one contenders match.
It was a number one contender. I'm not sure this is going to be the WrestleMania match.
I don't think it's gonna be. I think
maybe it's gonna be like a Friday night SmackDown.
I think it's gonna be the match. I think the Bellas are still gonna have that match at Mania, no matter what. So that's why maybe I could see Charlotte and Bliss having to have Charlotte on the show at WrestleMania. You want to do it? You put the titles back on them and you let them face the Bellas.
Why not do like a
multi-woman?
Multi-woman.
You could do that too.
I feel like we don't have a stipulation match at WrestleMania yet, and there's usually a stipulation match. So why not have it do the women this time?
You could do it with a multi-woman match, but ultimately that titles is gonna end up on the Bellas no matter what.
Yeah, true. We had a couple of backstage segments with Sami Zayn. He confronted Cody Rhodes, wishing him luck for his main event match. And we also had a segment with Randy Orton as well. And in my opinion, Sami Zayn, he's not in anything right now.
He's going heel eventually.
He's going to go heel eventually. Obviously, next year, WrestleMania is in Saudi Arabia, so it's a lot of long-term storytelling at this point.
I think whoever comes out the winner of that championship at Mania, I think their first opponent is going to be Sami Zayn.
You think so?
I think whoever he ends up fighting, whoever ends up winning that championship match, because you could tell Sami Zayn is having a storyline with Orton and Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
I could see him snapping on either one of them, no matter what. So it's gonna be interesting to see Sami Zayn back in a heel role because I know he's been a face for a while now, but he's also been a heel a few times in his career too.
Yeah.
So we're gonna see how that plays out because I think there's something going on with Sami. Obviously, their WWE is trying
They have to change up his character.
Yeah, they need to do something different where instead of him playing this sorry, like always apologizing and not standing up for himself character, he's going to end up cracking eventually.
Yeah, for sure. Then we had a 10-man tag team turmoil match. This was a chaotic match.
Crazy.
We had the Motor City Machine Guns, Fraxium, the random pairing, or not really random.
No, that's not random.
Did Damian Priest and R-Truth.
They've been in backstage segments a lot every week.
That's true. We had the Wyatt Six and Los Garzos. Truth and Priest, they ended up picking up the victory. The MFTs got involved. So the tag team division on SmackDown right now is looking really good. There's probably going to be...
They're just getting everybody back on TV.
Yeah, that's true. Obviously, it's WrestleMania season. It kind of makes sense. Then we had a Jade Cargill and Rhea Ripley promo because Rhea Ripley, she won the Elimination Chamber last week.
Yeah.
These two jack women, they were obviously, I guess, complimenting each other, saying that I respect you. But they were both saying how they had the physique to beat each other. And Jade Cargill, she was saying, I'm her. Rhea Ripley was saying she's her. And it pretty much, it kind of was just a similar promo battle between the two.
It was just, I think the main thing that came out of that promo was Rhea Ripley saying that her body was made for fighting, and hers was just for physique and just for like aesthetic.
For sure.
So we'll see. I think Rhea Ripley's going to get the best match out of Jade Cargill that she can.
For sure.
So I think they're just going to continue to build that no matter what.
Yeah, and we had another squash match for Obafemi. We've kind of been seeing Johnny Gargano in the back just laying on the thing.
There's something going on there too. I'm very curious to see exactly what WWE is planning with Gargano being this depressed state. I don't know if it's going to lead to something or a push maybe after Mania because Johnny Gargano is one of the best wrestlers when he's on. Yeah. When he's on, he is one of the best. But it just depends on how much WWE wants to view him that way. So let's see what happens. But this was just another squash match for Obafemi just to get more eyes on him every week.
And then he's got to face Rusev on Monday Night Raw. And eventually, this just led to the main event between Cody and Drew. And Cody and Drew, they do what they do best. They put on a great match. It was a really violent match. We saw Cody Rhodes do a crossroads to Drew McIntyre in the announcing table. Then Drew McIntyre, he powerbombed Cody Rhodes through a table. The refs, I think like 3 refs got knocked out. And we saw Claymore, we saw Crossroads, Cody Cutters. Yeah. This match had it all. It felt like a pay-per-view main event. And I know SmackDown, they did the last 20 minutes commercial free, so we pretty much saw the whole thing play out. I feel like the last ref, the one that Drew McIntyre doesn't like, he knocked him out, and then he tried to go for a steel chair. Jacob Fatu came out. He basically grabbed the steel chair, pulled it out of his hand, didn't attack him, and this led to Cody Rhodes capitalizing. He ended up getting Claymored. Obviously, Super Cody, he's going to kick out. And this ultimately led to Cody Rhodes crossroading Drew McIntyre, and now he's champion again.
Yeah, Cody Rhodes is your WWE champion again going into WrestleMania season.
And now it's going to set up Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton for night 1. And I don't know. I feel like something's going to happen moving forward where this is not just going to be Cody versus Randy, or Cody Rhodes is somehow going to go heel in this.
So like that, my whole thing is like, if they did this title change now, this is just cementing, in my opinion, that they want to view that Cody's going to have that match by himself with Randy, in my opinion. Because if it was just Drew, if it was going to be a multi-man match, there's no reason why you need to take it off of Drew because he was going to lose it anyway, in my opinion.
And this was just the most unnecessary title run because I don't think Drew McIntyre defended it once.
Yeah, besides anyone else, besides Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
So, in my opinion, I think it's just a match where you had Cody Rhodes. They wanted that one main big match because obviously him and Randy, they had a match a year ago, I believe, at the King of the Ring tournament final. So Cody won that, but that was they respected each other. That was just a fair contest. I think going into Mania, you're going to see true colors from whoever decides to be the heel because that's the thing. In this storyline, anyone can turn heel in this. Randy Orton can, Cody Rhodes can. And obviously, the fans love Randy Orton so much now that he's at this level, but we all know Randy Orton loves to play a heel.
You know what's crazy about this WrestleMania is we have 2 matches that technically don't have heels. Technically.
Yeah, they're all loved by the entire crowd.
That's a good thing too, in my opinion, because it creates the drama. we know what the drama is between CM Punk and Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
And then we know that this drama between Cody and Randy is going to develop for the next couple of weeks. Obviously, there's going to be things said about each other's family, how they're all built up from generation to generation.
Yep.
We know how they go back to legacy.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, they're friends now become enemies, and it's probably going to be a great. It's going to be a great match.
I think it's going to be a great match. I'm very curious to see who ends up winning because Randy Orton is really pushing to win that 15th title. That's the story right there. Cody Rhodes, is there any way possible that he ends up losing the title again right away after winning it? I don't know. Like, that's crazy to think about again.
I think, in my opinion, I feel like they shouldn't have made him win the title. If they're going to make him win the title, at least do it at WrestleMania. I feel like if they're going to go the route of just being them two fighting each other, that's one thing. But if they had Drew McIntyre winning, somehow Jacob Fatu getting involved, costing him, leading to that fatal four-way match at WrestleMania. But the fact that they did this now, soon.
I think it cuts that four-way title match in half. And I think it's going to be just probably Jacob versus Drew one-on-one at Mania. And let's see how it goes. There's still obviously, 5+ weeks going into Mania season still. We're going to see exactly how the WWE Championship picture plays out, who ends up being the more prominent person to win that match. Because we'll find out. As the more weeks go on, we'll find out exactly who's going to be considered the face and heel in this.
Yeah, it's shaping up. We know what the matches are going to be. We kind of have an idea of each world title match, the women's title matches. Obviously, it's the mid-card matches.
Mid-card still need to be sold, But that's not happening because usually that's every WrestleMania season. The mid-card matches always end up getting developed first 2-3 weeks right before Mania anyway.
Yeah, true.
But your main championship matches are pretty much set in stone. Now it's just building those storylines, and I can see them building it really well, especially with all the 4 major players they have for those 2 titles. So let's see how it goes on, but that sums up our WWE recap for this week. All right, guys, we have our first quiz officially on the channel, and we're going to be doing a WrestleMania-themed quiz because obviously it's WrestleMania season, so I thought the best way to start our first quiz is talk about WrestleMania. So we have a bunch of questions lined up where it's multiple choice. We're going to talk about exactly who ends up winning. We're going to be going head-to-head. We're going to see who gets the most points, obviously, but we're going to get straight into our WrestleMania quiz, and the first question we have is, which Mr. Money in the Bank became the first to successfully cash in his contract at WrestleMania? And this is multiple choice, so obviously A is Seth Rollins, B Shawn Michaels, C Test, and D Triple H. And we'll put 20 seconds on the clock. That's the way we'll do it for all these questions going forward. So, Farhan, I'll let you hit the timer and we'll start. All right. This is, obviously, is it crazy to even think about? Or, obviously, if you do process of elimination, I think it's pretty easy to think about who was Mr. Money in the Bank in this.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I guess we'll reveal our answers in 3, 2, 1. Seth Rollins.
I went with Triple H.
You went with Triple H? When did he win the Money in the Bank? Seriously?
Yeah.
All right, and the answer is Seth Rollins.
Yeah, my other answer would have been Seth because I know he did the Heist of the Century, but I feel like Triple H he never won Money in the Bank.
He never won a Money in the Bank.
Damn.
You just assume because of seniority and just him being around forever?
Yeah.
I get that. All right, question 2.
All right. Which NXT alum was the lone superstar standing after he won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal at WrestleMania 32? A. Cesaro, B. Baron Corbin, C. The Big Show, or D. Mojo Rawley?
Okay, so this is an interesting question because obviously 3 out of the 4 options they were from NXT. Obviously, one of them is not from fucking NXT. So Andre the Giant Battle. Remember they stopped doing that shit too a while ago, but. Let's see.
We'll put 20 seconds on the clock.
I kind of I feel like I know who the answer is. Because I remember this was a big moment when he ended up dumping out this person. All right. Yeah. I think I'm good with my answer. You?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. All right. Reveal our answers. We'll reveal our answers in 3, 2, 1. I went with A. I went with Cesaro.
I went with Baron Corbin.
You went with Baron Corbin?
I feel like Cesaro. I know what you're talking about when he picked up the Big Show and threw him out. I think that was at WrestleMania 30.
You think it's a 30?
Yeah.
You think Baron Corbin is? All right, let's see what the answer is. It is Baron Corbin. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Is that when Baron Corbin like kind of like made his main roster debut at that point?
Yeah. Everybody was clamoring that he was the next big thing, and I knew because I feel like I watched the video of him winning the thing, and it was at the Dallas one.
So I got one, you got one, right?
Yeah.
All right.
So I'm gonna put one and one.
Next up, question 3. Who has competed in more WrestleMania matches more than any female superstar? A. Trish Stratus. B. Chyna. C. Mickie James. D. Charlotte Flair. So, okay, more WrestleMania matches than any female superstar. That makes you think, because obviously, you know, Charlotte Flair, everybody knows she's like the woman that WWE views as, but like more WrestleMania matches. So this has to do something with longevity, I assume.
Right.
This is a hard one. There's a lot of options you can go with. Because I'm trying to think, like, how many WrestleMania matches were Trish Stratus really in? Like, I can't think of that many. But Charlotte, she's been on, like, every one,
She's been pretty much on everything, yeah. All right.
Is it more easier than you think? I don't know.
Put 20 seconds on the clock.
All right, I got my answer. I think I'm going to go with, I'm going with the safe one, to be honest. All right, reveal your answers in 3, 2, 1. I went with D. I went with Charlotte Flair.
I went with Mickie James.
With Mickie James?
Yeah.
Okay. So, let's see what the answer is. And is Trish Stratus. Really?
Wow.
Okay, so I guess we got both wrong.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of does make sense.
makes
She was
sense.
the biggest women's superstar, her
At
Lita
that
back
time,
in the
right?
day, you know. So I don't see why it wouldn't have been her. You know what I mean?
All right. Still 1-1. Question 4.
Which NFL Hall of Famer once fought Bam Bam Bigelow in the WrestleMania main event?
I know this one. I actually do know this one.
I don't know this one.
So, this one, obviously, A, we have William Refrigerator Perry, B, Lawrence Taylor, C, Ron Simmons, and D, Rob Gronkowski. It's definitely not Rob Gronkowski, I'm telling you right now. It's Bam Bam Bigelow, so he's back then. You have to think about it back then. And NFL Hall of Famer, you know. So you kind of, it kind of, you know, it's put down to 2 answers at this point.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going with my answer. Reveal your answers in 3, 2, 1. I went with LT.
I went with LT too.
It is Lawrence Taylor.
Yeah.
I remember this because I've seen this feud happen before where these guys would go back and forth and fight each other. I'm like, dude, LT really was at WrestleMania. It's crazy. All right. Question 5.
How many F5s did Brock Lesnar need to break the Undertaker streak at WrestleMania 30?
Jesus. Okay, so obviously one of the biggest matches in WrestleMania history with Brock Lesnar defeating the streak at WrestleMania 30. I remember he delivered a good amount of F5s in this.
I think he broke his rib too.
He broke his rib. He gave him a concussion. The Undertaker was effed up after this match. But we have 3, 4, 5, or 6.
I feel like I know this one.
All right. I'm going to put down my answer. You know what? That's too much, I think. All right. All right. Reveal your answers in 3, 2, 1. I went with 4.
I went with 5.
Okay.
Because I feel like the F5s. It was
You just went for 5?
Yeah.
3. Okay, it was both fucking wrong. All right. 3.
I feel like he delivered more F5.
I feel like so too. All right. Next up. Question 6. Which rock and roll legends performed Triple H's entrance music at WrestleMania on 2 separate occasions? Run DMC, Limp Bizkit, Kid Rock, and Motorhead. I think I know this for sure.
I feel like this is a trick question.
Why do you think it's a trick question?
I don't know, because rock and roll legends, you know what I'm saying? Like,
They're all rock and roll legends, technically. I think I know this because they actually do his theme song. So, all right, reveal your answers in 3, 2, 1. Motorhead. Yeah, Motorhead.
Motorhead.
Yeah, Motorhead.
They did all of his.
I feel like they did all of his music.
Yeah.
Like all of the entrance musics he ever had. All right, next up, question 7.
Yeah, which is the only McMahon family member to win a match at WrestleMania? And there's pretty much only 3 answers here.
Yeah.
We got Mr. McMahon, Stephanie McMahon, and Shane McMahon. I know Shane McMahon fought a lot more than the other two, but has he ever won?
I think I know the answer for this, in my opinion. Just by knowing his personality, honestly. And I think I know what match it was, too.
I have a feeling I know, too.
All right, reveal your answers in 3, 2, 1. I went with Mr. McMahon.
I went with Shane O'Mac.
You went Shane O'Mac?
Yeah.
I think it was Mr. McMahon, and
because
I have a feeling why. I know.
I think it was I know he fought Undertaker at 32, and I also feel like he fought in 33 against AJ Styles.
He did, yeah.
And he won that match in my opinion. I think. I
think he lost both.
No.
All right. Oh, Shane
O'Mac,
McMahon.
yeah.
Okay. So maybe it was against the Styles match. Oh, the one I was thinking was when Mr. McMahon fought Shawn Michaels.
I remember that.
But I don't remember. I guess Shawn Michaels won that match.
Didn't he fought Pat McAfee?
He did technically fight Pat McAfee, and he lost against Pat McAfee too.
Yeah, doesn't that count too?
I guess that does count.
That's interesting.
All right. What do we got? Question 8.
Yeah, so question 8 is Razor Ramon and Shawn Michaels raised the stakes for their Intercontinental title match at WrestleMania 20 by competing under what stipulation match?
Okay, this is an iconic match. I know a lot of people probably always talk about this match being one of the best matches ever in WrestleMania history, but I think if you know about wrestling lore, this should be an easy one to know. But I got my answer. Ready? 3, 2, 1. I went with D, ladder match.
I went with ladder match.
Yeah,
too.
I think it's definitely ladder match. And the answer is D, ladder match.
This is a good match. For any match with Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania is going to be fire.
He's just another level at WrestleMania.
He is Mr. WrestleMania.
All right, question 9. Charlotte Flair became the first women's champion at WrestleMania 32 by forcing which female superstar to tap out? Sasha Banks, Ivory, Becky Lynch, and Bayley. So WrestleMania 32.
Damn, that was 10 years ago.
Wow, that was 10 years ago to this point. So Charlotte Flair started this run. This is where I guess it all began, where she kind of went. She was the girl going forward, in my opinion. So WrestleMania one-on-one match, I guess. Yeah,
she
right.
She did have a one-on-one match that year.
It was a one-on-one match. Sasha
this is
Banks.
the peak of, or not, the peak of that new revolution of WWE divas. It's transitioning from divas to women superstars, you know what I mean?
All right, I got my answer. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1. I want Becky Lynch.
I want Becky Lynch.
Yeah,
too.
I'm not 100% sure because I don't remember her.
I feel like her and Bayley, that was going to be my next guess. Because I know Charlotte and Sasha, they didn't fight till later on.
Yeah, I don't remember them having that many matches. It was Becky Lynch. Because I remember they had a feud going into the Evolution pay-per-view too, the first one. All right, we're going into our last question. All right, I got 5. What do you got right now?
I have 4.
All right, so I guess
you have 5?
Yeah, I got 5.
I have 3 for you.
Oh, you were counting down?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I don't know why I have 5 then. No, I got 5. I got 5.
Yeah?
Yeah, I got 5. All right. Question.
I have 5 too then.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Question 10.
Yeah, so which larger-than-life superstar was John Cena's first WrestleMania opponent? This is kind of easy.
This is kind of easy. If you know John Cena lore, if you know about all of his stuff, you have A, Undertaker, B, The Big Show, C, Kane, D, Batista. I know exactly who it is, and I know what show it was, and I know where it was, and I know for what title it was. Because, honestly, it's John Cena. How would you not know at this point? All right, reveal your answers in 3, 2, 1. Big Show.
Big Show. U.S. title match.
U.S. title match, WrestleMania 20 at MSG.
Yeah.
There you go, and that was the question. So we literally both scored the same amount.
Yeah.
6 points. I think we should do one more question for a wager. I think we just literally, whoever gets the next one right just wins. So let's just do this one. Question 11. This is an interesting one that we just pulled up. Which TV personality has appeared at WrestleMania as a guest interviewer and in-ring competitor? A, Kim Kardashian, B, Nicole Snooki Pelosi, C, Nene Leakes, and D, Maria Menounos. Interesting.
I don't think Kim K was ever in ring.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But there was obviously during this time, there's one person that was always on these Mania shows. I remember specifically. But I think I know the answer, in my opinion. Do you have an answer?
Yeah.
All right. Reveal your answers in 3, 2, 1. I went with Snooki.
I went with Snooki too.
Let's see. Oh, it was Maria Menounos. I don't know why I thought Snooki was in a match. Oh, she was never probably an in-ring
No, she probably never did an interview.
That's what I was going to say. Because I know she was in a match. Damn. All right, we're going to keep going until we get like one. All right, next up. Question 13. Oh, this is a good one. How long did it take Sheamus to seize the World Heavyweight Championship from Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania? 14 seconds, 16 seconds, 18 seconds, 20 seconds. I remember this match being extremely quick.
He literally, the bell rung and bro kicked him.
Bro kicked him, and that was literally it. So it makes you think. I think I have a reason why I'm putting this many seconds. Because I remember something else happening in between. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1. I went with 18 seconds.
I went 14 seconds.
Okay, so my justification for 18 seconds is I remember Daniel Bryan, the bell rang, and he started kissing AJ Lee a little bit.
Yeah.
So I remember, I don't know if it was 18 seconds or 14 seconds, but I guess we'll find out. And the answer is 18 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay, I had a feeling. Because I remember, I'm like, I hear 18 seconds before, but that ended up being...
I thought it was good. I thought it was like 16 seconds or something like that. But 14 kind of makes sense because I know he did kiss AJ.
Yeah.
And then the bell rung and then boom, it happened right after that.
Yep. But that kind of sums up our WrestleMania recap for quizzes. And I ended up winning this one 7.
Yeah.
So
This is a good quiz. I like these.
Yep. That's pretty much it, but thank you for joining us for this quiz. All right, guys, and that sums up our episode for this week. Thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace.